And January 1 is every year the biggest day for Xpires. It's just when contracts are coming to an end and people are ready to make that change because they want their house to sell in 2023. So January 1, 2023 will be the biggest single day for expired listings to hit the market for you to pick them up and be their agent. And that then in the last 4 to 5 years. And so why is today important then? Well, don't wait until January 1 to create a habit of calling expireds, of getting the tools like RedX to have expireds delivered to you daily, and getting in practice with your scripts and what to say to people on the phone with expired when you're calling an expired listing so that you can be their agent. Do that now.
All right, dude, let's play this into LCA and then get started, because I got myself at RedX for Cyber Monday.
That's right.
Dude, so hold on, I open up RedX and it's like this is the first thing I see.
Boom. That's right. Because today's the day, man. That's it's like we don't discount our stuff often, and so it's a big deal.
I love that, man. I love that. So look, the market's shifted. I still don't, by the way, I still don't think we know exactly where it's heading completely, because we don't have enough information out yet as to where we're actually heading. You have people always predict.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we know yet fully. And I talk to a lot of people like you and a lot of economists. So I think where we're currently at, we have an opportunity as real estate agents to turn to tools like RedX to be able to start calling again. And I am seeing a massive uptick in that. So
yeah, absolutely.
What do you see agents going back to?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to point out what you said and what you called. You said we have a massive opportunity. And I love talking to people right now that are in that mindset, because I think there's a lot of fear out there amongst agents, right? Of like, hey, is this 2008? It's not. Is what, I haven't been in a market like this before. What am I going to do? Are there going to be buyers, or what happens? It was a seller's market for so long. How do I now cater to my buyers? And like, and so then people start having fear and they get a little bit frozen in not knowing what to do next. Yeah. But if we shift that mindset a little bit and look forward to the opportunity that's ahead of us because of the shifting market, then we can start pulling out the positives and be ready. So a couple of the basic things, Tristan, that I've heard you talk about, seen you post about, people are still buying and selling homes. That's the number one thing you have to know, right? People are still getting new jobs, are getting married, are getting divorced, are having more kids, or are the kids moving out. Whatever the life changes are happening, are still happening. And even at the very depths of 2008, which we are not, that is not where we're headed. But even at the depths of that, we still had people buying and selling homes, like 13% of the market buying and doing the average buying and selling. And so someone has to do that. So the mindset should be, that should be you. You are the one that can help people buy and sell homes. But you do have to do it a little differently. If you haven't already created these habits, these routines, and these good practices, then there might be some things that you need to get back into. So I just want to talk about a couple of those. But honestly, Tristan, you're the expert. So as I bring some up, I just want to hear from you too about what you're talking to people about going into this market. But one of the things that I definitely look at is over the last couple of years, houses were the market was nuts. And so people got out of some basic habits of producing long-term revenue or long-term clients in their own database. And you do that by making friends every day on your phone calls. You can be calling your expireds, you can be calling Fisbos, you can be calling geo leads. And that's a little bit what I want to talk about, is having the right habits and using the right tools with those habits. So if you're daily making your phone calls, it becomes a numbers game that fills your CRM, fills your database. You have some transaction-ready homeowners in those expireds and Fisbos, but more than anything, as you're making friends, you're also filling that database for future clients as well. We have a whole half hour to talk about all this, but one of the data points that I'm loving right now as an opportunity for anybody willing to put in the work is expireds. So what we saw even before 2020, I mean, in 2019, we started coming off of a high of expireds. And in 2020, people are just like, oh, there's no expireds, not even worth trying to call them, which wasn't true then, but it's even less so now. So I just pulled this up. We, because we are the expireds experts, we've been doing it for 20 years. We have this report right here. In the last 90 days, there's been 718,457 expired listings. All right. So that means you could have relisted one of those. You don't have to be one out of 718,000 and you're going to get a new listing, right? That is up nearly 50% year over year. So just in the last 90 days, we've seen that spike. And January 1 is every year the biggest day for expires. It's just when contracts are coming to an end and people are ready to make that change because they want their house to sell in 2023. So January 1, 2023 will be the biggest single day for expired listings to hit the market for you to pick them up and be their agent. And that then in the last 4 to 5 years. And so why is today important then? Well, don't wait until January 1 to create a habit of calling expireds, of getting the tools like RedX to have expireds delivered to you daily, and getting in practice with your scripts and what to say to people on the phone with expired when you're calling an expired listing, so that you can be their agent. Do that now. And I'm going to shameless plug, because today is the day to do that. It's Cyber Monday. It's one of our only promotions of the whole year. You can get up to 32% off all products at RedX. And I think there's a link right there so you can get it from LCA and make sure that you get setup fees waived, everything going your way, and then be in practice by the time January 1 hits. And that's just on expired. So we haven't even talked about the other opportunities, but what have you seen in expireds, Tristan? I know I've watched you, I listened to you, I look at your other posts, so I know it's something you have been talking about. What are you seeing in the expired market?
Here's what happens. Here's what's going to happen even more. You have a set of agents that came through over the last few years that have been taking listings that have not really been doing too much to sell them. And that's because the market was that way. So what's happening is that those homes at all different price points are now staying on the market longer, and some aren't selling. And the ones that aren't selling are now opportunities for agents like us who know how to talk to these people, who know how to show them how exactly the process is. It's the clarity, because the clarity then helps us with fear, right? The action really helps us a lot, but clarity helps us take that action step towards actually doing something. And look, I was just scrolling through earlier this morning, and I'm going to just show you something, because everybody's selling. It's like, if you want to sell your home, nothing's going to stop you regardless of the market. And Ivana Trump's townhouse list for 26 million. This is 5 days ago, guys.
Yeah. The Goonies.
All different, and the Goonies house and Christmas Stories house. But check out something a little further down, which I was reading this earlier, so I remembered. Look at that. David Spade. I'm going to show you something. David Spade's house back on the market after just 9 months. What does that tell you? You know what that tells me? Opportunities. You want to break into a luxury market? Now's the time. That's how we did it. You want to break into a new area, a new farm area, right? Now is the time. And this is how you do it. This is by far the easiest way. You just have to learn a few new skills and have the right tools to be able to do it right. That, to me, I mean, dude, David Spade's house staring me at the face. I mean, how can I not? Right?
That's right. Yeah, and that's in your neighborhood, right? It's around the corner.
Yeah, it expired and then it's back on the market. What else am I missing? Like, whose house I'm thinking, like, because Jake's listening in the background, who didn't sell his house this last round was Pierce Brosnan, 007.
Yeah.
He listed his Malibu home for $100 million, and it's a beautiful home on the beach, obviously, a broad beach, and it didn't sell. And now I'm thinking, like, now might be a great opportunity to come in and be like, hey, this is you were a little high on the price there, but this is our plan. These are our connections. So I'm just thinking like that. And I think there's an opportunity for everyone to start looking at it and saying, hey, what did I miss the last few years? Well, this is what you missed.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that mindset of instead of being like, oh no, what's going on in the market, but saying right now there's opportunity. There are agents that are not going to be willing to put in the work, that are not looking at it as an opportunity, that are going to fall out. I think we've seen that some NAR reports and other places where this is already a high turnover industry with agents, not sticking around longer than 2 years. And I think we know we're going to see even a higher turnover in this next coming year because for the people that are stuck in the fear side of things. But that means the people looking at it as an opportunity have even a greater opportunity because they can be the ones coming out on the other end making those deals. If there's already the people at the top that already know that this is opportunity, but there's a big enough pie to go around that if you've wanted to break into luxury or break into doubling your deals for the year or just increasing your transactions for the year, now is the time to do that because other agents are going to fall to the wayside while the ones willing to put in the work get to pick up those homes that are going to sell anyway. And one of those is Xpires. I think Xpires is a huge opportunity. It's always been an opportunity, but it's coming back with a vengeance right now for people calling that. Another one I think that is a huge opportunity is for sell by owner. In the last couple of years in the hot market, when you'd call for sell by owner, they'd say, "Man, the market's so good. I think I could sell this by myself." They were right. Now, maybe you could get them a little more money. Maybe, your skills would help them sell it faster. But the truth is, in the hot market, a sell by owner was getting by in a way that they liked. But right now, they need you. Right now, they do not know how to price their home how the market's changing. Right now, they don't know. They can't. It's not as easy to market their home because they're not just selling when you put a for sale sign in the yard. And so a for sale by owner is another transaction ready homeowner that's raising their hand saying, I want to sell my home right now, that really needs your help. And if that's someone that's on your list to call, and those are friends you're making, appointments you can be setting and talking to them and show them that you have the skills to help them out. Another huge opportunity right now to end the year and definitely to kick off your year and be in your plan for 2023 is that because of the market shift for sell by owners, need your help now more than ever.
Yep, they do. They can't sell their homes like they were doing before, right?
And again, it's looking at the future with opportunity of what's out there as opposed to fear of how things are changing. And that's just another area that we've been keeping an eye on, and we see that for sell by owners, they're not really going down. They've stayed pretty steady. But they're staying on market longer, and they're going to turn to agents, I think, more often than they have they are turning to agents more often than they have been in the last 2 years. So
yeah, I agree, man.
Having your lead stack.
I think that the challenge when we look at expireds and for sale by owners, for those of us who haven't called or maybe called a while ago, is that there is no plan in place to be able to say, well, how do I tackle this? How do I take this on? And I would say, if you want to go ahead, I mean, what are we? The 28th. And you and I know that at the beginning of every month, the last day of the month and the first day of the month are when people normally have their contracts expire.
Yep.
So if you want to give this a shot and go all in, what a great time to do it at the end of the month, just 1 day, and then the beginning of the month, 2 days. And then if you just do it for those 2 days and be sure to follow up throughout the month with those people, you'll see great results. You don't even have to call the rest of the month, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you should, but yes, I mean, that's the time to be on the phone.
People get a little scared and they're like, well, maybe I can do this one time.
Yeah.
that would be, hey, you want to get your feet wet and go all in to start it off? Do it at the end of the month and the beginning of the month. And then you try it again December 31st and January 31st. And you'll be like, wow, I didn't know there was, I didn't know there were this many. And it's pretty big because look, it's getting tougher out there. And look here, there's another article I read this morning. I read a lot of articles, you know, that I share a ton of articles. This one's by Bloomberg. Just the title, U.S. housing enters deep freeze with sellers and buyers. There was a section that I wanted to share. Here it is. Pressure on sellers. I'm just going to do that. Homeowners holding back for now are hoping for a bigger decline in rates, which would make it easier to sell and cheaper to buy something else, according to Zandy. Zandy's the economist for Moody's, I think. But here's what you said earlier, right here.
But
divorces, job changes, children will keep eventually leading to a steady increase in listings. That's our opportunity, right? It's not going to stop.
It's not. The market is the market. And yes, interest rates are changing. Buyers, sellers are a bit frozen right now, saying, hey, what do I do and when do I do it? But all those life changes are still going to happen. I love this question that we're getting, Tristan, and it's one I want to put you on the spot for. They're asking about a skill set to call Xpires and Fisbos, maybe some examples. Because I think, you know, moving from the fear of the market to now the fear of picking up the phone and contacting an Xpired or Fisbo, people say, hey, I either haven't done it before or I'm out of practice the last couple of years. What do I say when I pick up the phone? I know you share scripts, I think, pretty freely. So maybe you have a resource to share with some people, or
I'll dump it in. Joanne, great question. I'll dump in the scripts there. So you have them, and then I'll share my screen with you, and then I'll take you through it really quick, because I know this is a common question. So I have a little table of contents. I've been doing this practically my whole real estate career, which I love. And you go to, we love old expired, especially now. Look what happened with David Spade's house. It listed 9 months later. It's pissing me off because I didn't.
Next time we're on a webinar together, I want to hear that you sold his house for him. Like, so get on the phone and make that happen.
I love it. Well, just expired. You can go through here, and they're not any different than most scripts. I try to be a little bit more authentic, a little bit more easygoing. It'll depend what areas you're in. If you use these scripts in New York, they may not work as well as California, only because we're just a little bit more relaxed in California, and they're a little bit more aggressive in New York. What can I say, you know? So just morph it. Use it as something that you're able to go through and talk to people with. And just, here's the important piece that everybody misses, because it's a surprise to people when we talk to them about this. RedX has a secret number.
Yeah.
and the number, I think they have like, you guys like have a 4-hour span or 3-hour span in the day.
It's right. Yeah, no, it's 8 hours right in the middle of the day.
Yeah. All right. In the middle of the day. And you call up this number, and they say, hey, so you want to run scripts? What kind of scripts do you want to run? Expireds, for sale by owners, just listed. What do you want to run? And you're like, expireds. And I'm like, okay, good. Do you want me to go easy on you? Do you want me to go medium on you? Do you want me to go hard on you? And that just means 1 objection, 2 objections, 3 objections. And then you practice with them, and it's a real person. You get through, and after you feel like, wow, and it's recorded, right? So you get to hear yourself screw up a whole bunch of times, which is fine. Don't worry about it. But the point is that you get that practice with a real person, and you get to choose and go all in. Guys, don't do the easy one or the medium one. Just go hard so you can screw it up from the very beginning. That way you're like, oh, damn it, I suck. Good. You're going to get better. The point is to just try it, call it. That's, dude, to me, that's the best part of RedX, and nobody talks about it.
It is. It's like it's a secret weapon, you know, for the customers when they call in. And hey, just thrown out there, it's closed today because our call center is just slammed right now, getting new accounts because of Cyber Monday. So role play is turned off today, but we love it and it helps them out. And that's what I was going to add. Not just the role play number, but when you say, hey, what's the skill set to call Xpires and Fisbos? And that's why I'm talking about, if you're not doing it, start right today. because one of the skill sets is the willingness to do it regularly, to be on the phones, because you're going to read those scripts, and the first time you use them, or even and especially the first time you role play them, it's just, maybe you'll get a nice person, you'll do really good, but chances are you'll be like, oh, that wasn't great. and if you then are like, I didn't like that, I didn't like how it went, and you give up, so the skill set is kind of sticking to it and saying, hey, I'm going to make my calls every day until this is natural, and it is easier for me to talk to people, and it becomes part of your habits, your routine. I think daily, you can pick a couple days a week too, but when it becomes part of your routine, it's not just about getting a hold of them right then and there and closing a deal, but it's also, like I said, filling your CRM, filling your database of future clients. Because the people that are like, hey, I don't want to talk to you right now, that end of your script can say, hey, I know you probably have a realtor buddy that you're keeping in contact with, but do you mind if I just send you some updates every once in a while on my email list? And most people say, sure. And you say, what's the best email for me to send that to? And now you're growing your databases to be the person they know. Even if you're not closing that, getting an appointment set immediately, you now have people that your sphere is growing where you can have some influence, and that helps you as well for future deals, not just today. So calling regularly helps you all the time.
Yeah, I think that is the key. And have a set goal, and say, how many new contacts do I want to, brand new people that I'm talking to, how many of those I'm going to add to my database today, right?
Yeah.
And I would say if you have a minimum of 5 brand new people that you can add to your database that you can then follow up with at a later time, that's 150 in a month if you're calling, 7 days a week. How many? Yeah. Let me calculate. How many is that a year, dude? That's 1,800.
Yeah.
1,800 that's insanity. That's 1,800 in a year. Even if you suck and you're making calls, you're gonna close something. Like, even if you close 1%, that's a lot.
Yes.
Man.
And that's why I love talking about it, because it is a numbers game. But if you play the numbers game, you'll win every time, because you'll start to learn your own skill set. And Tristan, when he hops on the phone, you guys can tell, because every time you listen to him, you're like, I would definitely want that guy to sell my house, right? But so Tristan probably has a very high appointment close rate to say, hey, when I'm on the phone, this is how many appointments I expect to be able to set out of this many contacts, and of appointments set, this is how many listings I expect to take. And you'll start to learn your own numbers. And then be able to back into that and say, okay, if that's the case, then I'm going to be making X amount of calls a day, because I know without a doubt, if I make X amount of calls today, if I make 30 calls today, I'm going to make 3 to 5 new friends. And of those 3 to 5 new friends, I'm going to set 1 appointment every day. And of those appointments, I'm going to be 50-50 on closing them as listings. And then, once you take a listing, what your close rate is. So then you really start to back into it, and then it's really easy, because then you say, you know what, I want to double how many listings I'm going to do this year. And you know exactly how to do it. You say, oh, I start at the top of that funnel, and I'm just going to double my calls. And because math always works, when I double my calls, that'll double my people that I talk to, that doubles my appointments set, and it just trickles down. And but it's something, on a personal level of like, hey, now that I've been doing this a while, I'm making more friends on my calls, I'm setting more appointments, and it moves up.
Part of the skill set is the dialogue flow, though, because you said it earlier in passing, and I think when Joanne, was it Joanne who asked, I think, the skill set question?
Yeah.
Joanne, you asked a great question in skill set, because part of that is the dialogue. And if you expect to close every single person that you're talking to on the call, you're going to burn yourself out mentally. You're going to be like, cold calling expireds for somebody, they suck. But if you change your mindset to say, hey, I'm going to create relationships, and I know relationships take a very long time to build up and to create trust, right? Then you're going to turn this around and say, I can make a career out of this. And depending on the market, like our current market, in this market, you can make great relationships and close transactions faster than in the previous market when calling expireds or for sale by owners.
Yeah.
So in that same, the fact that here, let me see if I can share that same article, because in that article, let me see if I can find it. It said something about door knocking, and I was like, what? How does Bloomberg know door knocking? It's like, what the hell? And I thought, yeah, it is, knocking on doors. Okay. And I was like, no way. I've never read anything that said door knocking. 6 months ago, agents were flooded with business. Now they're on a door knocking campaign. I was like, no way. That tells me that the agents that are the ones that have been through this, right? Or the ones that are trying to figure it out are the ones actually doing that work.
Yeah.
That we weren't doing before, which is calling expireds, for sale by owners. And on top of that, those expireds and for sale by owners that you really want, you go out and knock on their door.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have I done that? Going to Malibu and being like, knock, knock, knock. And they're like, come in, the door's open. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, are you sure? You don't know. I'm just, and so, yeah. So that's the real stuff. This is a real part of being a real estate agent, right? And
Yeah.
I think we don't talk enough about that, man.
Yeah. And it's part of the opportunity, right? Opportunity exists, but it exists more so for the people willing to go put in the work, willing to say, okay, I haven't been calling, or I've never called. I'm going to dedicate an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours a day to call. I'm going to go out door knocking twice a week. I'm going to, on top of expires and geo leads, I'm going to get, expires and Fisbos, I'm going to get geo leads and do some circle prospecting, some just listed, just sold, map out my door knocking so that I'm going to knock on the best doors that I want, that most likely to sell. You know, those are the people, those are the agents right now that are going to win and win big in 2023 when they say, I'm willing to put in some work. And I know we're running out of time, so I wanted to let the LCA audience in on just something a little extra for our Cyber Monday.
Shoot.
Because we've been working on a product for social media called Ad Builder. And it's a super simple product that just blows your mind. It connects your Facebook and Instagram ad accounts to your RedX leads. So when you're in Vortex, you have your expired leads, you have your neighborhood you've been farming. So you made a folder, a filter with geo leads, and then you go in and you take the ads you've been running on social media or you plan to run, and all within Vortex, you upload that creative, and then you say, deliver this to all the expireds in my RedX account, and it will match it and throw it on Facebook. And that's not just the best part, because up till now, you could every day just go export a list and upload that into Facebook. This is a dynamic list, so it automatically updates every day for you. So once you create an ad that says, hey, sorry, your home didn't sell, or let me tell you why your home didn't sell, or whatever it might be to expire. Once you create that ad one time, you connect it to this dynamic list, and every day, RedX in the background is going to push all new expireds and take out all relisted homes. So your ad is always being displayed to the most recent expireds or Fisbos or neighborhood, whatever it is that you want to target. Your sphere, you can upload your sphere in there. And that is just, it's $49 regular. It's 20% off. And we didn't talk about it because we were still in beta earlier this month. And we were like, oh, we're not sure if we're going to be ready to sell that on Cyber Monday. I got word like right after Thanksgiving that said, hey, guess what? You can sell it. But we'd already sent all the emails and said, come talk to us. And so we didn't tell everybody about it yet. So that's just a little in for everybody that's listening today. This brand new product is ready. It's part of the 20% off or up to 32% off sale with Cyber Monday. It's called Ad Builder. Call in. You might have a little bit of a wait because we are just absolutely flooded with calls right now, which is awesome. It's another indication that people are wanting to call expireds and Fisbos and geo leads and pre-foreclosures and furbos, and they know they need to be back on the phones. They're calling us today to get those tools. And now we have Ad Builder as well. So that's just something that you guys know that not everyone else knows. So call in, ask for Ad Builder, get it added to your account, and make social media. And Tristan, that's you talking about social media all day, every day, man. That make that part of your 2023, where now you're not just calling those expireds, but if you're pushing them an ad, by the time you call them, they might say, Tristan, I know you, don't I? Yeah, because I've been all over your Facebook feed because I've been running social media ads to you.
I love that.
We're
That's-
excited about it.
I wonder if we could, the next webinar, we could touch lightly on Xpires and Fisbos and then go deeper on that.
Oh, I'd love to. Love
On
to.
that, like, hey, this is what we do, and then I'll showcase kind of like what I used to do on my Trello board and how I used to contact my Xpires. And yeah, dude, let's do that.
All right, we're all in. We're ready to go. Until like Thanksgiving, we weren't ready to talk to everybody about them. Now we are. So let's
All right,
absolutely do that.
2 weeks from now, I'm telling the team. Thanks,
Deal.
guys.
We're in.
All right,
Tristan,
man. Cyber
so good to
Monday.
be with you. Happy
Exactly.
Thanksgiving. I know it just passed, but it's been so good to see your face, and happy Cyber Monday. And we look forward to talking to you again in 2 weeks. And all the links are in there for everybody to go ahead and hop online, give us a call. Let's get ready for 2023 and take advantage of that opportunity.
I'll blast this out to my texting community too.
Sweet. Thanks, Tristan.
Thanks everybody. Thanks, Robert.
See ya.